Today, we're going to be talking about the Dixie US dollar index, right? And we're going to look to see how this the dollar index can actually help us with all of our trades moving forward. So all of the US parents, as well as gold and silver, if you're into those as well. So how that can help us. But we're just going to be looking at this in general, right? Now, with that said, if you're new to this channel and you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like. Why? Because I'm helping you get to the bag, and by following along with this channel, watching my analysis, that may help you get to the bag, right? So make sure you do that. Now, with all of that said and done, okay, I believe this is the first time I am talking about the Dixie on this channel. I could be wrong, and if I did talk about it, it would have been a long time ago, a couple years ago. So if so, we're just gonna pick up on that and just look at what's happening with the dollar index. So as we can see, since 2008, okay, since 2008, dollar has been gaining strength, right? So since 2008 up to now, dollar has been gaining strength. There is a high possibility it's going to bounce from this level and push up some more, but this is what's happening with the dollar index, right? Now, if you're new to trading, chances are you don't even know about the dollar index because you're mainly focused on the major pairs, and that's where all the action is. I would like to point your attention to the dollar index. Reason being is what's happening there is super important to what's happening with the currency that you're doing if it has a US pairing, right? So for example, if we just briefly just look at, say, EURUSD, right, we're going to see, right, that the opposite of whatever is happening in the Dixie will be taking place in your currency pair. So for example, just to point out, we can see that the dollar has been losing strength, right, has been losing strength the last couple of months. So it's been losing strength. It's been going down like this, right? Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at, say, let's just briefly look at GBPUSD, right? We're going to look at GBPUSD, and what we can see is that the pound has been gaining against the dollar. So the opposite has been happening, right? If we go to EURUSD, we're going to see exactly the same thing. The euro has been gaining against the dollar, right? Meanwhile, the Dixie has been dropping, right? So this helps you with your analysis if you're not actually looking at this pair. And I was thinking of what to really talk about today on a Sunday, because usually when it comes to doing technical analysis on a Sunday, this is where sometimes I draw a blank. I don't really know what to talk about, and the idea is I want to post a video every single day, right? Because is good for me because I'm still analyzing. I'm analyzing multiple assets, right? And it's helping to sharpen my skills, and also as well with you guys watching, it's helping to sharpen your skills also. So we can see what is happening here. So now the main aim of the game now is just to work out what we kind of need to understand to help us decide when we could possibly start selling some of these assets that we got: Euro, USD, GBP, USD, and so forth and so on, right? Or so on and so forth. That's how I should have said it. So with that, we're going to jump into the day, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on my favorite tool, which is the volume profile, and I'm going to drop that right here, okay? And then that's going to help me kind of figure out what I need to be doing and how I need to be doing it. Now, when you look at it like this, you can actually see how effective this thing can really help you get paid in terms of when you are using volume profile to make decisions. Obviously, we had a terrible move here. This wasn't great at all. This area right here, I would have thought price would have been pushing up, but obviously it went down into the low value area of the volume profile. So as it stands now, the main thing that we want to keep an eye on moving forward is what is going to take place in this area in terms of what direction is going to go in, because it's right now it's cleared it has cleared a low value node area and it's on its way down, and it's under it's under the high value area, which is all of this of the volume profile, and it's cleared a low value node in the low value area. And it looks like, based on the pattern that we're seeing here, right, is that we might get it pushing down even lower. We might get it pushing down even lower, down to the downside, and we kind of need to find out why that would be, right? Why the dollar will be weakening at such a level. So with that, we're going to go into a much higher time frame again. We're going to go into the week just to give us an idea as to what we kind of need to be looking at. And the overall trend that we can see, which is what I pointed out quite early in the game, is that obviously market for the most part has been pushing upwards. So it's been going in the upward direction, right? So which basically means with what we've got going on over here in this area, what are the chances that it's going to break down even lower? What are the chances? Well, there is a number of things that could help it go down lower, but the main one that we're looking for right now would be this level being taken out, right? This level being taken out. And that move of price taking down this support level right here, okay, that will be newsworthy. So you will hear it in all of your financial news and data that move has taken place, which basically means that Donald Trump has failed in making America great again. Right? He technically would have failed because the dollar would be getting weaker and weaker, right, against all the pairs, which means if you're in Euro USD, your whole situation is about to go parabolic. If you're in any of these pairing, it's all about to go parabolic and it's all going to go in your favor. If you're in gold, that's about to go even higher, right? Just because of what will be taking place. So as it stands, in terms of what I am looking for, because Dixie is not something that I will trade, but it's something that I will keep an eye on, right? To help me kind of work out what all the other assets are going to be doing. So the main thing that we want to be looking at right now is to see if price makes its way down to this level over here, which would be 89.705, right? If price breaks all the way down to this level, and the move down to this level over here would be a parabolic move. It would be a parabolic move, in my opinion. As a matter of fact, let me see where I derived this from. I might want to take it back even further. Let me take it back to about here. Okay. Okay, so I've taken it back all the way up to, let me bring that forward. Let me drop that about here. So I've taken that back to 2015, right? I think that's a fair place to take it from. And if you go back to 2015, if I go as far back as 2015, right, we can see that price is actually in the high value area. So price is actually in the high value area if I go back that far. If I only just focus in this area over here, then price has left the high value area and it's now in the low value area as pointed out earlier, right? So because of where everything is right now, we can say, okay, price is now in the high value area, is making its way down to this level over here where we have a low value node, right? We have a low value node sitting in this area right here. Okay, so at this point, this is where if price makes its way down here, this is where we can expect all the other asset classes. So all the US pair, Euro USD, GBPUSD, all the rest of the ones that end with USD, we can expect all of them if price bounces from this level over here. If price comes into it and then blasts off, moves away from it, this is when we can expect all of them to go into a downtrend. All of them to go into a downtrend. So from that point, you are looking for sales. Like this particular asset is the one that all traders really need to be keeping an eye on, especially if you're big on currencies. You need to be watching the Dixie, right? Because if you're watching the Dixie, I promise you, you're going to make less mistakes in your trades and you're going to have a better understanding as to what's going on and what's happening, why it's happening, and what you kind of need to do. Right? Hence why I'm bringing it to your attention now. So these are the moves that we're looking for right now in the Dixie to help us make a move, make a decision, make a move. Either way, we're going to be doing something, right? Which is price looking at how it is looking right now, and we're on the weekly right now, looking at how it is looking right now, there is a high probability, in my opinion, that price will be coming down to this zone right here. I believe it will, right? Which is 95.98. I believe price will be coming to this zone. What price does at this zone is what is going to help us across the board. That is what is going to help us across the board, right? So as it stands right now, if I was to look at anything with a US pairing starting first, right? So let's say if you was to look at USDJPY, right? USDJPY, that too should be in a downtrend, and it is. And it is, right? We can see that too is down, right? So that will follow along whatever the Dixie is doing. So whatever the Dixie is doing is what we're going to be seeing over here, obviously in conjunction with what is going on in Japan as well, right? So let's get back to the Dixie. Okay. So with that said and done, right? With that said and done, these are the moves that we're looking for. It's really straightforward. I'm expecting price to continue to go downwards, right? I'm expecting to go downwards, but let's just wait for conditions to be met to say that it still wants to go down. Then we can double back into the other assets that we're looking at or the other currency pairs that we're looking at, and make sure that our position as well as the technicals on that side is in line with what we think is going to take place. And all of this information is what will help strengthen our overall analysis to make sure that we have our best foot forward in regards to market behavior. So the first thing that I'm going to point out will be this location right here. Okay, so this is the lowest point of this downtrend that market went into, and that is 97.561, right? Or 97.561, right? We want to see this level here taken out. Okay. Once this level is taken out, we want to see what price does when it gets to this zone over here, which would be 95.895, right? And like I said, if we get a bounce from that level, then we know what we need to look out for. If you're in EURUSD, you know there's a high possibility that prices are going to go into a downturn. Obviously, the ECB might release a report that will create a whole scenario of confusion. But bottom line is, chances are it's going to be doing the opposite of whatever the Dixie is going to be doing, right? So if you're not watching this particular asset, you have to watch it. And I think moving forward, every Sunday, we're going to be looking at the Dixie as a roundup to everything that's been taking place in the currency so far, and then that will help us make decisions as to what to do and how to do it. And I think I'm going to be introducing the Dixie into a lot of the Forex analysis that I do moving forward, just so that if you're not following it, just by watching me talk about it, you're going to start to obviously follow along with that also, to help you with your overall analysis. So with all of that said and done, if you have stayed watching up until now, I believe you definitely owe me a subscribe, right? So hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like. And remember, this is value-based content you're watching over here. This is not entertainment. This is to help you get to the bag, right? So you want to hit that subscribe button, you want to turn on the notification, and you want to drop us a like. So whenever I drop a video, you're one of the first to see it, and you can follow along, as well as you can use the information I share with you and cross-reference that with the whatever information you have to make sure that everything makes sense. Another thing as well that I also wanted to do is drop in the comment section what you want the Sunday video to be about, okay? Because I think I'm going to instinctively add the Dixie to all currency analysis that I talk about moving forward. So you're going to be getting 2 in 1 essentially, right? And so that's going to leave the Sunday blank. So if you could post in a comment what you want me to talk about, what asset you want me to talk about on a Sunday, I would really appreciate that. So if you could do that, that would be amazing. And with all of that said and done, I will see all of you amazing people on the next one.